And hello, everybody. We are going into week number 2 of the course, which will be officially January the 29th. And that's when we're going to be starting week 2 of this course. Before I get into that, though, there's a few things that I need to address and put emphasis on. Okay. And this is something that I had discussed at the beginning of the course. Last weekend, as you know, the course officially did launch this past Monday. That was the first week of the class. And the few things here that I want to discuss, as I've also discussed this in my other courses as well, is timeliness, getting activities submitted on time, along with submitting assignments within a timely manner. Now, if you've already noticed, I have done some grading today. And what I did grade, not degraded, but pardon me, I graded the discussion posting activities that were due. So here's the thing. As you log into D2L, you'll notice, okay, with the course home here, that it happens to be a layout where you can utilize your content browser, okay, and you can go through the various tabs. But however, though, if you notice, you also have access to the calendar. And this is what everybody needs to pay attention to. Though things are blurbed in the syllabus in terms of the due date for the assignments, when it comes to the discussion activities, you have to pay attention when you log into D2L, as the calendar is going to give you notification of when your initial response is due for your discussion activities. So, for example, for week number 1, your discussion activities were due last night at midnight. Now, again, if you've noticed what I've already done, I have done some grading. I did grade earlier, and what I graded were the initial post to your discussion activities. Now, when it comes to the discussion activities, we always have 2 discussion activities a week that are correlating around the content, the terms and the definitions and theories that we're actually studying and evaluating. So I guess I want to talk here, and not I guess, but I'm going to put a definite absolute on this. I want to talk about order in terms of how you should approach this course on a weekly basis. Now, this happens to be an asynchronous course, meaning that you're not meeting me face to face by Zoom. And I do understand that when it comes to scheduling, that all of you all have different schedules. Some of you are carrying more courses than others. Some of you may have 5, 6 courses. I know that every schedule has variance to it. But when it comes to this, you are reliable and you are responsible as the week begins for engaging in the readings of the textbook. I've already provided the lectures. If you look at the layout for every week, okay, it's a mini lecture in terms of what we're covering. I have also provided PowerPoint slides giving terms, definitions, and theories, things that are pertinent for you to know as we progress further within the course. So, and I can't tell everybody, okay, how to conduct their study habits. I want to make this clear. But as a professor, the one thing that I can do is that I can emphasize, okay, how you should approach this course, not only this course, but any other asynchronous courses that you happen to be taking where you're not required to meet your instructor face to face throughout the course of the week. Monday and Tuesdays, for example, you should be engaging in the readings. That's the beginning of the week. Read the required chapters, look over terms, look over definitions, and this is only advice that I'm giving everyone. I want to make this clear. When it comes to Wednesday, that's when you start working on your discussion activities. Make your initial post, and they're due Thursday at midnight instead of waiting till the last minute. So it's just all about balance with time management. And of course, you have other courses to juggle. I understand that. Many of you all are carrying beyond a full load, and I'm showing empathy towards that. I do understand, and I'm being sensitive towards that as well. But this is something that you can do. Now, when it comes to the assignment that's due Saturday at midnight, every Saturday, your main assignment, Friday, you can work on your assignment. And then have it submitted whenever, Friday night, okay, or throughout the course of the day on Saturday. But when it comes to study habits, I want to make this clear. There are different things that work for everybody. Okay, some, for example, okay, need complete quietness and tranquility when it comes to studying. Some, okay, can study, okay, with other people talking or noise around them. The TV could be on or whatever it may be. And then I understand how this happens to be an online course too, and how at times, we tend to kind of deter away from the actual browser that we have our course up on, and then we begin to maybe look on Facebook, we begin to look at our Instagram or our TikTok or YouTube or whatever it may be. I understand, but don't let that be a distraction to you all. Okay, focus at hand, okay, within the actual content that I'm giving you. And I reassure you that at the end of this course, you will have a good grade. A few other things I want to talk about as well. Now, if you notice, okay, and this is normally how things are going to be done on a weekly basis. Discussion activities are normally graded the following day for me every Friday. And if many of you all, you notice that there has been some activity in terms of grading. I have already graded those discussion activities, whether you complete them or not. Okay, so your grade has been updated and your grade is current. You can expect that every Friday. That's what I normally do. I normally grade the discussion activities. Now, when it comes to the assignment, the main assignment that's due Saturdays at midnight, the earliest day I would grade those are the following day on Sunday, going to the latest day, which would be Tuesday, going into the following week. So anywhere between Sunday and Tuesday, you can expect for your assignment that's due at the end of the week on Saturdays to be graded. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, oh, Professor Black said that he won't grade the assignment until maybe Monday or Tuesday. That doesn't mean that you submit an assignment late. I do reinforce what's already blurbed in the syllabus in terms of percentages and deductions. So, what do I mean by that? If I happen to grade assignments on a Sunday, the assignments there due Saturday night, and if I don't see your assignment submitted, you get a 0 for it. I give you a 0. So I want everyone to be aware of that. Another thing to keep in mind is this. Just because, okay, for example, with the discussion activities, those are 20 points. 20 points that you can earn by posting your initial responses to the discussion questions. Don't skip week 2 or let's say week 4 and think that, of course, hey, look, I'm going to get the best grade at the end of the semester. Believe it or not, those 20 points that you left on the table that you did not do, for example, completing the discussion activities, that could be the difference between a B and an A. So keep that in mind, you all. And you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to miss out on any points at all whatsoever. Every point is important within this course, and you want to stay on top of things, and you want to be consistent. And the reason why I'm addressing this is I've noticed already as we're wrapping up week 1 is that a lot of activity has not been engaged in by a lot of my students. And so I'm letting you all know how things will be reinforced. And you don't want to wait until the last minute to try to make up a lot of content, because I will have a cutoff time throughout the course of the semester where I won't accept any work that's late. I'm letting you all know this. This is an accelerated, condensed course. We're only together 7.5 weeks. 15 weeks, okay, is a traditional semester. I don't have you all for 15 weeks. I only have you for half of the time. Meaning that guess what? In the third week of March, this course is going to be over. So again, okay, I've already kind of laid out the order of things. Keep that in mind, everybody. You know that your assignment for week number 1 is going to be due tomorrow night at midnight, and you want to submit that within a timely manner. So I hope we've kind of clarified some things regarding that. The one thing I would like to do is, as I do these instructional videos that are mandatory for everybody to view, I would rather get into the content that we're going to be discussing and not backtracking so much in terms of submit your work on time, pay attention to this, okay? Look in the syllabus in terms of what I'm talking about when it comes to percentages deducted for late work, okay? That's the foundation. I hope we have everything submitted in stone and clarified in terms of how we're going to move forward within this course. Okay, so let's get into it for the time remaining here for week number 2. We're going to talk about quality requirements. So we're talking about the restaurant manager in terms of the product, okay? And as you know, this is a hospitality purchasing course, okay? Meaning, okay, there's budgets, there's inventories, there's brands, there's a lot of things, okay, that we're figuring into the equation here when we are actually portraying the role of the restaurant manager in terms of what we should buy to run the facility. So there are quality requirements, and this chapter is related towards the product itself. Okay. Now, of course, what we want to do is we always want to give satisfaction to the customer. Quality is important. Now, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to cover quantity going into week 3. But in week number 2, we're going to talk about quality. If you don't provide the best quality for your patrons, what are they going to do? They're not going to visit your restaurant or facility. They're not going to patronize you any further. Okay, and that could leave a black mark, or it could leave a black list on the establishment if you're not providing the best quality. Okay, when it comes down to the delicacies or what's etiquette, what happens to be on the menu. So take this time to look through this as I provide a brief lecture. Okay, get familiar with what a make or buy analysis is. Okay, think about how maybe costs have to be cut. We know that COVID really affected the restaurant and the hospitality industry. And even though we are in a post-COVID stage now, we are no longer in a pandemic. Okay, we do have restaurants, okay, that either went out of business because they could no longer break even, they no longer saw a profit. We're not even talking about break even. We're talking about no profits at all. And we're talking about overhead. We're talking about being in the red. And so as an example, the restaurant itself, the establishment, had to go out of business. And so those are the things that we're trying to avoid when we look at quality and how we look at make or buys. Okay, we look at that analysis, how we're going to cover specifications, how we should have requirements in terms of what we put into the quality of the food that we're preparing. Your week 2 discussions, okay, these are going to be due next Thursday at midnight. Remember that, everybody. Pay attention to the calendar and do too well when it comes to due dates. And for your main assignment that's going to be due next Saturday night, I want everybody to create a PowerPoint, a 4 to 6 slide PowerPoint presentation, okay, and you're going to cover the various costs of quality, okay, and these are in your reading. So prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost, and external failure cost. You're going to come up with the name of the restaurant, okay, so be creative in this, okay. You're going to come up with the restaurant name, and then the remaining slides and titles are going to be the different costs and your examples. Okay, everybody. So this assignment's going to be due next week. All right. That's going to conclude week number 2. Professor Javier Black out.